Man, I was so concerned that so I got a bunch of figures today, and I was worried that one of them was damaged because the box was already open, and then it looked like, since it's a bunny girl, it looked like the ears were broken, but it turns out that the ears that are in her head were just placeholders. So I was like, whew. I was so worried. I was like, oh man, someone got in and broke. They opened the box and they broke her ears. There's something going on, but luckily it was all right. But I've been trying to find the time to record this since uh I went through this manga. I mean, pretty fast. There are other, there are other mangas I could be covering, especially since there is a manga that's very similar to this. That is also, I mean, it is basically like this, but like a different way. Which is, this manga is a harem in the fantasy world dungeon. I don't know why it's said that way. I usually just say harem in a fantasy world. Is just usually what I call it. And I watched the anime like years ago, back when it like first aired, and I do not remember the anime being so sex. I mean, it had sex in it, but the manga, I gotta say, is very very sex heavy. I'll be honest. It seemed like the author was basically like, I want to do world building and stuff, and I know people are going to think it's boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to have world building stuff and a bunch of lore, and then at the end of their little dungeon journey for the day, I'm going to make them have loads of sex. that's that's basically this is basically how the story is. It really is like that. It's just like, you just like reading it, and it's just like there's a bunch of lore, world building, and then like, oh, we're done in the dungeon. Let's go home and have sex. And I mean, the anime had it like a little bit, but it wasn't it. I gotta say, reading the manga, it just like it hit different than watching the anime. I gotta say, it's pretty crazy. But anyway, yes, this is an isekai. It is very much a harem isekai. Slaves. But basically, this guy gets sucked into a I don't know. It's like a create your own adventure type thing online, and then he gets like sucked into another world, and then he thinks he's in some game or something, but then he's like realized after killing a few people, he's like, oh, I just killed some people, and there's no way to get out of here. And so he just kind of like accepts it. And I gotta say, this this isekai is very interesting because it is like very heavy on the world building. They go into detail of like how like the dungeons work and how basic trade and just a bunch of stuff. But he is one of those typical isekai protagonists that just like immediately go to the slave market, get a slave. But I gotta say, my favorite character besides the main girl, um, this slave trader guy, dude. I like how he just like sees an opportunity to sell a slave to someone, and he just like goes like all in, like, I know you want to buy this slave. And he keeps having her like appear in front of the main character. I forget it. Oh man. It's just too great. I mean, who wouldn't want a slave to have? Also, I'm actually surprised at how far this has actually been like adapted, and how long it's been going for, because it has over 100 chapters in it, which is crazy. I was like, what? But I will say, of course, the main character easily gets the slaves to love him because he treats them different than everyone else. So I mean, come on, it is an isekai story, so it has typical stuff. But man, I'll be honest, you're probably mainly reading it for the the hentai parts of it, where the girls are going wild on him. And I gotta say, Roxanne, she is actually. I'm surprised she's actually a really really good character because she actually has some pretty good background lore. Because to be honest, I think if she was to engage in combat with the main character, I think she would actually win because she's just that that crazy. But so far, he has 3 women. I remember in the anime they actually showed him with more women because they did like this like flash forward where he runs into some kid in the village he first spawned in, and it's like, someday, kid, you could have all these women like me. And I can't remember how, he had more than he currently has, but I got it, man. I still just can't get over that. It's basically dungeon crawling with sex. That's basically what it is. And then going off and selling and trading stuff, and then just getting fucking information just like drilled into your head about stuff happening in this, or like how the world works basically. But I will say, besides the sex stuff, what got me hooked was I definitely enjoyed the character interactions between him and the girls, and then there are some other characters, especially the slave trader guy. I freaking at the beginning of the manga, he's just great. And then him dealing with the elves, who are they're just trying to always get him like, hey, why don't you join our group? Join us, help us. He's like, I don't know. But I do find it interesting that I do wonder if there's going to be some issues that will happen in the future, because he has the ability to mess around with classes. He messes around with his own classes and then other people's classes to help make them better. Because he basically, the girls are basically like Pokemon. He has them, and then he basically trains them and gives them skills and stuff. That's basically what he's doing the whole time. And like, wow, you're amazing. You're helping me learn all this stuff. And it's like, yeah. And he's like, everything is like a secret. He's not telling him exactly what he's doing. Because he's just like, I kind of want to live like a normal life. I don't want to be, because one of his classes that he has is hero. And one of the girls, I don't think I have the screenshot where she actually talks about it. I should have saved it, but she basically said if the kingdom discovers that you have the hero class, then they are going to try and kill you because they'll see it as you trying to usurp their authority, which I thought was interesting. So I was like, oh, so he better be careful. You know what's crazy about this world? Everyone has like, when you die, cards basically pop out of your ID card basically pops out of your I think it comes out of your left arm, and people can collect that. And if you're like a thief, or I don't know if I can go into it how interesting this world is, but like if you're born as a thief, you're stuck as a thief. Like, because if that's just like your top like job or skill, then people will just look at your identity card and be like, oh, you're a thief, you're a bad person, you die, you go to jail, get enslaved or whatever. But nobody wants a thief as a slave because they're backstabby, evil people. So he has to be careful, and so he always has just some random job class at the top of his ID card. So that's the one that everyone sees. But he has like a crap ton down below. But I don't know how much I can go into detail about this world, because I gotta say, if you want a good horny isekai that does like a crap ton of like world building and stuff like that, where it like expands and explains how the world works, then this isekai is for you. I mean, I'll be honest, I did skip through most the world building stuff. I did find a lot of it interesting. I like the ID card stuff was very interesting, and then how slaves work. Because I mean, the 2 slaves he has, Roxanne got sold into slavery because I believe her father died, and her aunt couldn't keep up with payments, or they were like in debt or something, and so she went into slavery to help take the burden off her aunt. I know the dwarf girl. She went into slavery because her brother, who was the main income earner for her whole family, got injured, and they were falling behind on debt. And so she volunteered to go because she's like, I'm not gonna send my younger siblings to go, and my brother's injured. So she's like, I'll go and sell myself into slavery to deal with debts. So don't get into debt. I still gotta say it was since I watched the anime like a while ago. I just barely remember it, but reading the manga, holy moly, I gotta say it's pretty crazy. So why don't you guys go and read this so you can see how crazy it is for yourself? Because just dungeon crawling and then sex. So yeah, go read this and get horny.